Breaking right now, Queen Camilla issues a path back for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, ignoring pleas from Prince William, while there's good news about to be announced on the health of King Charles. So this is a major development in terms of our monarch and his cancer, which we have revealed is incurable on this show in the past. And that obviously means that his treatment has been absolutely grueling, even though he has been able to go ahead with significant duties. But P. Dinah, royal YouTube sensation, who is with me today, King Charles will this evening in a prime time broadcast on UK TV, quite unprecedented for a monarch, reveal the very positive news that his cancer treatment in the new year will actually be reduced, which is a huge boost in terms of him being able to be more visible, continue more of his work as monarch. And this is something which I think will really boost him, given that cancer treatment is grueling. It is difficult. And even though the treatment is going to be ongoing, probably going to be ongoing for the rest of his life, any form of reduction in that treatment is, of course, a positive thing and something that he puts down to early detection, P. Dinah.
Yes, I think it's absolutely it's wonderful news. I mean, I remember hearing that the king saying, or it was said that this might be his last Christmas. I was hearing that a while ago, and now we're hearing this news, and it's really uplifting to everything that he has had to go through. I think it's very encouraging, just in general, to the monarchy and the transparency of it all is really welcomed by the people. And a lot of, I think, sympathy will be given to him and just really trying to reduce stress for him moving forward and to really help him have a good quality of life in general moving forward. And I think it's a cautionary tale to those that may be around him that may want to cause problems to back off. We're doing good. We're seeing good things now, and let's just kind of be a little bit more sympathetic and careful with the things that could cause problems to have this reoccur or in a more aggressive way,
But
you
Pete Diney,
know?
you are completely right to point out the historic nature of a statement like this. In the past, certainly under the very long reign of Queen Elizabeth II, health matters were kept deeply private, deeply personal for both the monarch herself, but also Prince Philip too. Both of them had serious cancer battles in their twilight years, which they never shared with the public. Of course,
Right.
Charles signaled with his reign that we were entering a new era, although some people, P. Dinah, have said that was a mistake on his part. It made him a bit of a lame duck. It passed a lot of the power to Prince William at an early stage of his reign. But it sounds like you actually agree with the transparency and think that there might be something quite powerful in that transparency. And of course, it was a transparency that we saw with Catherine, the Princess of Wales, too.
Yeah, I think it speaks to a lot to the people because that's what people want. I mean, I know some people say, well, leave him alone. He doesn't have to disclose this information, but people appreciate that in a way that gives them somewhat of an insight into his health battles, everything, because they feel such an attachment to the monarchy. And hearing this, it draws the public in more. And I think it helps him to have a better connection with the people. And that could also, I don't mean to say it to be vindictive, but it could be a setup to things that he may want to encourage that the public don't want. So just throwing that out there, just because you always have to look at all angles, but it definitely is a way to kind of give a big hug around the people. Let's we're all into this together. And I'm doing better. And then let's see what else may come out that he will need support for.
Indeed. But look, any positive news that King Charles is able to deliver about his health is good, and we
Absolutely.
celebrate it. Maybe something that I'm not celebrating so much, P. Diner, is this
Mhm.
decision by Queen Camilla to quite clearly signpost support for Harry and Meghan. Now, she did this last night at her lovely annual Christmas event when pictured in her house, you could see quite clearly, and it's just behind that boy in the wheelchair to the left. We can zoom in and see two pictures featuring Harry and Meghan. Now, I want to
Mhm.
take you through Tom Sykes of the Royalist Substack reporting on this because he says this is absolutely not a coincidence. This is
Mhm.
planned and it is all part of this plot by some members of the royal family, certainly not William and Catherine, and a lot of members of the British establishment to try and welcome Harry and Meghan back. Against the wishes of the British public. Tom headlined his piece, Camilla carefully shows off Meghan photos in her home. Speculation the couple could be spending more time in the UK was supercharged by a deliberate meta photo bomb today. And he added, Queen Camilla kicked off Christmas with the carefully tended ritual of decorating the Clarence House Christmas tree with children and families, supported by Helen and Douglas House and Roald Dahl's Marvellous Children's Charity. And lo, it seemed the cup of goodwill did flow, for there, peeking through the branches of the Nordic spruce, was not one, but two, yes, two famed photographs of the Duchess of Sussex's wedding day. So Exhibit 1 was Meghan Markle walking down the aisle, linked arm in arm with King Charles. Exhibit 2 was the official family portrait from the Sussex wedding day. Now, he goes on to say, for a family that choreographs symbolism with scientific precision, this deliberate insertion into the visual field is a message, one whose timing collided with another astonishing development. Prince Harry's sudden re entry into the Risk Management Board cohort, the formal mechanism that determines threat levels and could unlock police protection for Harry and Meghan. And he adds the careful curation of Meghan's bridal photograph, and sorry, no, I don't believe the picture was left out or put out without its implications being very carefully thought through, is relevant indeed. The last time a photograph sparked this kind of debate was in 2019. But in that case, it was a missing one, when Queen Elizabeth's Christmas broadcast notably excluded any image of Harry and Meghan. Today's photographs have me thinking that the cogs of government are moving. Think about it. The aides met up in July. Charles welcomed Harry to Clarence House earlier in September for tea at a time when the family appeared otherwise immovable. Harry later told The Guardian he wished to spend more time in the UK. Then suddenly a security review is underway with no sign of royal resistance. Now, as Camilla drapes tinsel with sick kids and leans into comforting pageantry of Christmastide charity work, the palace chooses this moment of Christian goodwill to all men to display an image of the emotional nucleus of the 2018 wedding, the moment Charles stepped into the breach left by Meghan's estranged father to walk her down the aisle. Sources close to the king have long told me that despite Harry's fury, despite the memoir and the interviews, Charles retains a deeply paternal instinct towards his darling boy. We know he is inclined to reconciliation, and the king's illness has accelerated that impulse because the timeline of transition is no longer abstract. And to be frank, if Harry is going to get a new settlement, he needs it done while his father is still alive. So, P. Diner, there is a great deal to unpack here. So much going on about this movement towards reconciliation, something I think, and I'm going to be honest about this, is a huge mistake for the king, a huge mistake for Queen Camilla, but Tom Sykes saying that photo being placed for all of the world to see is not coincidental. And I believe that, P. Diner, because remember, I was the one that broke the story of Megxit, and a key part of that story on the first day was Harry saying that he knew that he was on the way out when the Queen left his photo off screen in that Christmas broadcast in 2019. He was furious about it. He was livid about it. Today, he's going to be thinking, goodness gracious me, the tides, they are turning.
Absolutely. And it is a message to Harry and Meghan that we support you, we welcome you. And I think also to the people, they're trying to soften the public's view on Harry and Meghan to come back. And, they're being accepted by Queen Camilla. We know what Harry has said about her in his book, but even she is softening her stance on Harry and what he has done. So absolutely, this is just a ploy. This is how they do it. Like you said, with the symbolism, it's just speaking to what we know they're trying to do moving forward. And it's clear Harry is trying to come back. The review of his security, that is a big step in that direction. I mean, why else would he even bother with this unless he wants to be back more often, more frequently? Talks around his children being educated in the UK. Like, this is something that they're trying to do a little bit by little bit. And I just think it is a mistake. Absolutely. I just don't think that people are going to forget that easily. But once again, I think they're just doing things to soften the public, their stance. This is why I think the king's message and, hey, this is my son. We want him back. And we're showing you that. And this is something that I think is inevitable that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To hell with how William feels, to hell with how Catherine feels. And I think that's so sad because what you've got to remember, P. Dinah, is that Charles, and Lady Colin Campbell was talking about this with me yesterday, is actually working with the enemies of the British royal family here. And Richard Eden has actually got an update on this in today's Daily Mail, where he writes, the establishment plot to return Harry and Meghan is gathering pace. But he says these new developments will horrify anyone who loves the monarchy. And I agree. And he says what has changed is that the establishment plot, which aims to restore the Californian-based couple to the affections of the British public, has powerful supporters. It's, of course, known as Project Thor, and Charles has been roped into it. And it's through key figures within this hard-left Labour government, such as David Lammy, the Justice Secretary, Yvette Cooper, the Foreign Secretary, who travelled on the same train as Harry to the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, when he visited the war-torn country in September. Richard Eden's sources say the new risk assessment in regards to the security could result in taxpayer-funded police protection being restored to the Sussexes. And the explanation will be that Harry and his family plan to spend much more time in Britain than previously. A friend of the Duke's told me Harry wants to educate the children here in the UK. Harry feels his children are missing out on the extensive family network that their niece and nephews are enjoying. Harry wants his children to have the best education. He has retained his closest friendship group of confidants from his days at school at Ludgrove and Eton. He wants that for his own children. But Richard Eden goes on to say if the new risk assessment does result in police protection being restored to Harry and Meghan, there would be fury from taxpayers. It would also be a highly dangerous move for the future of the monarchy. Just when left-wing Labour MPs are rubbing their hands with glee at the review of Crown estate properties and the favourable terms given to members of the royal family, Harry and Meghan would be free to come and go at leisure at a considerable cost to the Exchequer. This is something the increasingly influential Republican left would relish. It must not happen. But P. Dinah, it does look as if it is happening.
The broadcast opens with carefully staged positivity about King Charles' health. Reduced cancer treatment, primetime announcement, transparency, all uplifting, all reassuring. But let's be blunt, this is also strategic timing. Good news about Charles immediately softens public sentiment, lowers defenses, and creates the emotional cover needed for what comes next. The monarchy leads with sympathy before moving into controversy. That's not accidental. The discussion about Charles' openness compared to Queen Elizabeth II sounds noble, but there's an elephant in the room. Transparency didn't just humanize Charles. It weakened him politically. Early health disclosures shifted authority toward Prince William far sooner than expected. Some would argue Charles became a caretaker king, not a commanding one, and now, with illness accelerating timelines, decisions are being rushed. And rushed decisions inside the monarchy are always dangerous. There's an uncomfortable suggestion floated here. Public sympathy can be used. Not maliciously, but strategically. Illness buys goodwill. Goodwill buys silence. Silence buys room to maneuver unpopular decisions. And that matters deeply once Harry and Meghan enter the frame. This is where the real controversy begins. 2 framed photos of Meghan Markle at Clarence House. Wedding imagery. Front and center. For a family obsessed with symbolism, this is not decoration, it's communication. This wasn't nostalgia. It was a signal. A message to Harry, Meghan, the establishment, and the British public. Translation: the door is open. And crucially, against William and Catherine's wishes. Tom Sykes' analysis hits hard because it exposes how the monarchy speaks without words. This mirrors the infamous 2019 Christmas broadcast when Harry and Meghan were erased from the frame. Harry himself admitted that omission told him everything. Now the reverse is happening. From exclusion re-inclusion. That's not forgiveness. That's rehabilitation. Forget the photos. The security review is the true prize. Restored police protection means legitimacy, taxpayer funding, semi-royal status, regular UK presence. And once that door opens, it never truly closes again. This isn't about safety. It's about reintegration by stealth. This is where things get explosive. Claims of a coordinated effort involving palace insiders, civil servants, Labour figures, media allies, to force Harry and Meghan back into public favour, regardless of public opposition.
I just cannot imagine, first of all, Meghan even wanting to come back, right? That in itself is, for me, like a huge, huge deal. Like, I don't think she'll want to come back. But at the same time, Harry wants to come back, and they're going to do it, and they don't care. And I think it's going to cause a lot of problems for the monarchy. They are going to have to put up with so much backlash. How in the world do you allow something like this to happen, considering everything that Harry has done, even to the people, like what Meghan has done, calling them racist? They have to be forgiven by the people, right? I think that is huge. And if that doesn't happen, how can you allow this to happen and just like sidestep the people, the public? It just makes for, I think, problems for even William and Catherine, because we know that they don't want them back. But I think in some kind of way, they will almost have to welcome them back to save face. Like they will be forced to have to put up with this in a way that is going to be very difficult for them to do, and I'm sure not liked by a lot of people. It is a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, or it could be, Jan, that Harry is just trying to come back with the kids without Meghan. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think that
think
could
there
also
is a
be part
lot
of
of thought that he wants to establish this royal court, but there are so many risks, Pete Dyer, so many
it.
risks.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even see it today because they've got this desperate new hypocritical movie coming out. And the movie
Okay.
has actually nothing to do with them, right? It's something that they've bought into. Meghan's boasting about it here, Cookie Queens. They're taking it to the Sundance Film Festival. But this is so mortifying, P. Dinah, because even though their PR spin is that this is a really great thing for their company, actually, what they're having to do at Sundance is pimp themselves out and try to sell this film that they've actually had nothing to do with. Because, of course, the deal with Netflix doesn't really exist anymore. The fact they're doing this, by the way, means Netflix has said no to the film. And of course, there's lots of PR spin going on. They leaked this story to Deadline, the Hollywood industry magazine, which wrote the 2026 Sundance documentary lineup will feature a royal flourish because Deadline has learned the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will executive produce Cookie Queens, a coming-of-age story about the joys, pressures, and pain points woven into one of America's most cherished rituals, Girl Scout cooking season. And Meghan is, on the sal. She's on the grift. And she said, as a former Girl Scout myself, with my mom as my troop leader, I have a personal affinity to this film. And I'm proud that all of our conversations and collaboration have led to Archwell Productions partnering with this award-winning team to executive produce this incredibly captivating documentary. But the thing is, P. Dinah, it actually features kids aged between, I think, 5 years old and 12 years old. And I can't help thinking of all of the hypocrisy here, all of the ironies. Remember, they are supporting this social media ban on children in Australia, which we'll get to in just one moment. Harry doesn't believe that parents are responsible for putting their children on social media at all, yet a film featuring young girls is absolutely fine. It's just
Right.
totally bizarre.
I mean, they're all over the place with their messaging. I mean, they are so quick to exploit other people's children and to act as if, they want to protect children. But then they're doing things like this where they have to use social media to have these children on the cover of whatever it is that they're promoting in terms of like the film and the idea of the selling. Like, there's just so much that they have to do that is completely the opposite of what they're trying to fight against around children. And then, just showing other people's children and trying to write off of the backs of the hard work of this children's Girl Scout cookies initiative, and not even really doing the work. I mean, they just, for me, Harry and Meghan are just such hypocrites. They are users, they are abusers, they are not sincere in anything that they do because they want to do a little bit of everything without not having true meaning behind the things that they want to do. It's like pick a lane already. Okay, pick a lane. This is why they'll never be taken seriously with the work that they're trying to do because they want to do it all and they're not going to find success no matter how hard they try because they don't show up authentically when they try to present themselves with the work and initiatives that they say they are passionate about. How can you do this to young girls and exploit them? And then talk about how, children should not be on the internet or protecting them from the internet. And, they're just all over the place. They're a joke. They
They
really
are.
are.
They absolutely are a joke. But I also just feel like they don't understand how embarrassing this looks for them. So basically, all Archewell can do now is come into a Project P done, which is already made. It's already done. Like, why
Right.
do they want to have anything to do with it? I don't think that it makes it an easier sell for the project itself, having Harry and Meghan as the flag bearers. I mean, are they going to
Yeah.
show up to Sundance for a movie that they've actually had nothing to do with the production of, even though Meghan claims, oh, we had lots of discussions. No, it was a completed project. But then
Right.
secondly, the idea that if this were any good, Netflix would have bitten your hand off. I mean, they're constantly looking
Hmm.
for big one-off documentaries. And so
Yeah.
to me, this backs up a point that we have been making for a very long time, Pete Diner. Netflix is done with Harry and Meghan. The first look
Yeah.
deal was a face save opportunity to give them some type of PR spin in the mainstream media. And also
Hmm.
probably Netflix thinking, okay, what if the divorce happens at some point in the next 5 years? Yeah, we do want to have first dibs on that. But in terms of any meaningful relationship with the woke rubbish that Harry and Meghan are putting out, they don't want it because otherwise they would have taken this movie.
Absolutely. They are trying to keep their distance and trying to, I guess, stay there, in case things happen with this marriage, which, I believe will happen. But yeah, this is just Harry and Meghan trying to stay above the water, trying to attach themselves to something to look like they are relevant, that they're doing something, that they're showing up in a meaningful way. And I just don't think they understand how much of a joke they are. People are laughing at them. I mean, Netflix clearly has dodged a bullet with them because otherwise they would have had this. They would have been behind this. So they are just trying to do what they can, but they're a sinking ship. Clearly, they are not uh, going in the direction that they had hoped, at least Megan. And Megan may even try to use the Sundance thing for an opportunity for herself, for her acting career. I think she would try to use it to help herself, if anything. It's not really to promote this film and the work behind it. I mean, like you said, they didn't even have anything really to do with it. It's just putting their name on it. So Megan is a user. She will try to use it to help
Well, of course,
herself at the
because
end
look
of
at
the
how
day.
young those kids are. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm literally just trying to get my head around the hypocrisy and the irony of this, right? So Megan has plastered those children P Diner all
Hmm.
over her Instagram account on the actual day that she released this ludicrous essay celebrating Australia's leadership for banning social media for young kids. She actually released a statement saying this bold, decisive action to protect children at a critical moment in their development sends a strong signal that a child's mind is not a commodity to exploit.
Yeah.
On and on and on this statement went. But as Tom Sykes wrote today, P. Diner, what makes this latest Archwell essay so daft, in my opinion, is the constitutional and political context. Whatever they like to insist about being private workers in Montecito, Harry is the son of Australia's head of state. It is his father's government in Canberra that has just introduced this deeply controversial law. The monarchy is supposed to hover serenely above politics, reconciling factions rather than joining a raging argument about how far the state should go in policing its citizens' online lives. Yet here is the king's younger son, living thousands of miles away in California, hitching his and his wife's Brand family to one side of that fractious dispute. And of course, that's why, to come back around full circle, P. Diner, King Charles and Queen Camilla are quite frankly mad for attempting to give Harry and Meghan this path back when they should be looking at all of the risks that are going to come on a daily basis. And also the complete incongruity with Harry and Meghan's public statements compared with how they try and make money, P. Diner.
Right. Because that's what's important to Meghan. Meghan is about making money and having the light shine on her and what she wants to do. You think she's going to be a team player and, be in the background and support the monarchy? No, she's using it as a stepping stone to help herself. She sees she has failed in California. She's going to try to keep doing whatever she can to maybe even look like she is going to support. But at the end of the day, this woman has not changed. I mean, she can't even support her own father. She's not going to support the monarchy. She's going to use it to her advantage to get what she wants. And what does that mean for the monarchy? That means that they're going to have to put up with more controversy and things that Meghan is going to do that is going to sidestep the monarchy, because they're not going to be the ones that are going to be winning in this situation. Meghan is going to do everything she can to backstab the monarchy and their initiatives and what they're trying to do, because it's not about them. It's about her. And it will always be about her. So trying to bring her back, you're just looking for trouble. You're not even looking to really try to grow and reconcile at this point. You are looking to try to give Meghan something to harm you. That's what she's going to do. Why can't they see that?
100%. And I mean, all week long, P. Diner, the world has seen the truth of Meghan Markle, which is, of course, in terms of the treatment of her father, Thomas Markle. We have some major developments on that, actually. Big news coming from Samantha Markle in terms of Meghan's behaviour, and also from Team Meghan in terms of how this letter was just a PR.
If true, this isn't reconciliation. It's elite override. And history shows, when the monarchy ignores public sentiment, republicanism grows. Even with the ad break, the tension doesn't disappear. Because the core question remains unanswered, why risk the monarchy's stability for two people who walked away, then attacked it? There's skepticism Meghan even wants back in the UK, but that may not matter. Harry wants back. The children are leverage. Security makes it possible. Photos make it palatable. William and Catherine? Expected to swallow it for appearances. That's not unity. That's coercion. The so-called executive producer credit reveals something bleak. The project was already finished. Netflix passed. Archwell slapped its name on it. This isn't influence. It's irrelevance disguised as relevance. Hollywood doesn't chase Harry and Meghan anymore. They chase anything that lets them look active. This is where the hypocrisy becomes glaring. Publicly, advocating social media bans for children. Condemning child exploitation. Privately, promoting a film centered on young girls. Using children's images for branding. Leveraging minors for optics. You cannot claim moral authority while doing the opposite behind the scenes. That contradiction is why public trust keeps collapsing. The unspoken truth: Netflix keeps a foot in the door only in case of divorce content. That's it. No long-term creative faith. No brand confidence. Just contingency planning. Harry and Meghan aren't partners, they're options. The critique lands harshly but consistently. This isn't about charity. This isn't about causes. This is about spotlight and money. And that's precisely why bringing Meghan back into the royal ecosystem is risky, because she doesn't play supporting roles. She plays lead always. The segment ends with a chilling conclusion. Harry and Meghan aren't just controversial, they are destabilising. Every move politicizes the crown, undermines neutrality, fuels division. Reconciliation without accountability isn't healing. It's self-sabotage. Now over to you. Is Queen Camilla right to open this door, or is this a catastrophic mistake? Should Harry ever regain taxpayer-funded security? Are the British people being ignored yet again? And can the monarchy survive another Sussex chapter? Drop your thoughts below. Like if symbolism matters. Subscribe for uncensored royal analysis. Share this if you think the public deserves honesty, not choreography.